They have to go away from that double duelist, and VALORANT says himself, yeah, we don't have Dambi and X-Ross, we don't have Sato and Spike. We have to win in different ways. They have to get the players in the comfort roles. The meta, it's not tailored for them, and they want to create their own. That's why we see Baby Bay on the Chamber, for instance, where he can pick up that AWP and be at his absolute best.
And this return to something familiar for G2 has garnered them 3 wins in a row. For VALORANT, that is 3 wins against top IGLs. Zelsis, Sada, John QT, all having fallen. Not a really true to here in that B side. Obviously a couple of Sage Walls dueling.
That's a great pick from VALORANT.
Lucho was the lurk.
With how effective we've seen G2 on these B-side retakes, you got to favor them now that they have the man advantage by 2 even.
That is clinical stuff from Leaf. Peers in, gets a pick, heals back up, and we're back to work. Double flash here, Paranoia off that guiding light. Tickerstein tucked in the corner, but Trent knows just how to dig him out. He's going to have his second flash, and Darker is completely dazzled. That's what Star Power is going to do.
Trent has been stunning on this map. His Sky here is fantastic. G2, we're already getting an early taste of it, but their retakes on B, specifically the way that they're able to work together out of Boba, flood back in with those synced up flashes, we have seen it be so effective. It's why they're currently sitting at 2-0, undefeated on Sunset in this stage. I think that regimented quality team play, quality fundamentals that you expect from the G2 team are really peak here.
Trent to me is the piece that keeps G2 competitive in so many of these, even like their toughest matchups. But when he is popping off, the game looks really uncompetitive. That's when I feel like G2 are just rolling. So keep an eye on him. He's dangerous. And also a little weird, but that's okay.
He has had some outrageous peaks this year. Trent has been absolutely top level.
Leaf gets a decent timing to fall off this, and it's a fast lane used just to obscure his fallback onto B.
When you're just looking at this stage for G2, it has been all about Jaw and Baby Bay. The Neon and the Chamber, specifically on this map. Remember that when they had against 100 Thieves, Jaw drops 30 kills. Baby Bay is just constantly finding picks with really good lurk timings, AWPing. And then on the other hand, you look at Loud, exact same story. It's about the Neon, it's about their Chamber. The new addition of Tickerstein coming up from the Crew Academy, he has been excellent.
Speaking of the devil,
I mean, Lucho, since debuting last year's Stage 2, has been consistently one of the best players in the league.
I think the Chamber matchup is going to be a really fun one to highlight. Our desk did it as well to some degree, but we can go even deeper because, I mean, Baby Bay dropped 30 on Lotus against Crew, right? That regulation 30 bomb. He's first. He's 10-4, first kill, first death against Sentinels. And for me, what's so funny about his story is that, you know, Baby Bay's comeback, that whole idea, it stopped becoming heartwarming and novel the moment we realized G2 were actually depending on this guy, actually leaning on this guy as a central pillar.
He has been undoubtedly one of the most consistent players on the team this year.
You could just say he was the best, and I honestly wouldn't blink, which is
at some
insane.
moments, definitely, when he was playing the Vice full time, and now they're trying to get him in that zone on the Chamber. Great damage on the Lucho. That's going to force him away, and G2 wants a punish. Come on, man. Just Lucho things.
Joel pushing up there. Despite that stun, Luke's able to get the better of him, and now Trent realizes his hands are about to get mighty full. Oh my good luck.
Is that pre-nerf? is that pre-nerf Neon? The movement was crazy.
Yeah. Nice little spike impression there. This leaves Leaf on his own. This was the bonus for G2, and it did feature a couple of stingers.
Honestly, I like the idea from both the teams in the situation that we saw. G2 having that trap set in B main. Baby Bay gets the damage off. Jaw tries to punish, but Lucho is just going to be good for outrageous kills with outrageous consistency. But it's in addition to that, that Loud, now finding out where G2 are, they press into that split into the B side so quickly. Wall off the stairs, get in there, and they just have those G2 players completely pinched.
And rightfully so. Luke Show is the only piece of that old Loud project that is held over, right? And he looks incredible in his debut year. This year, this stage, his stats are actually disgusting. Quietly, just like the second best player in the entirety of Americas, only behind Arsenal, who's having a statistical
any
outlier.
Other stage, he would be first in pretty much every single category. But Arsenal's on the generational run with putting up numbers on Phoenix, so he has still got the lead. But in terms of Chambers, Luxo is far and away #1. He's putting up some 185 average damage per round. There's Baby Bay. As soon as he gets that op online.
I mean, that posting's pretty bizarre in mid, but again, he's just trying to stretch the rendezvous to its limits.
One of the biggest win conditions that G2 have in their arsenal this year was bringing in a really high-tier, consistent opper.
And I want to see how many rounds he does go mid like that, because the last time I saw G2, he was much more A-main focused with that chamber contact setup. Jaw lucky to be alive there. Another for Baby Bay in mid. Luke Show. Oh, surely we've seen some caboose. I'm certain of it. A little bit of junk? No.
That's isn't there either. Are G2 going to have the awareness?
This re-clear should not take overly long.
Crazy. Luxo is calling back the rest of the team now. They're going to get into this B site for free. And you really do just have to keep your eyes on Loud's chamber pushed up in that boba position. He is going to maneuver to backstab the site just in case, but I love this. He needs to play forward, find a pick to even this up, and then get back with the rest of the team.
This rendezvous position could be very powerful here. You can stand, play more aggressively, get a free pick, and fall back. Luxo, though, concerned about being picked, but no one is checking towards Boba. Baby Bay eventually gets his revenge, but it's traded out easily by Tikazine. And G2 do not have what I would call a powerful position to play from here.
Well, they've got the original duo of the team, the core and the 2v2. VALORANT is good for it.
Davi, slow start to the game and shows himself here. Feels like the sword is about to descend. The double up here behind a flash for G2. Davi spraying! Trent is going to get the better of him, though. The great stabilizing element for G2 gets them their third round.
Don't even start that shit here, mate.
Just narrowly. I think one of the aspects of Davi's game that has looked high quality since joining this team is his ability in the clutch situations, but the flash from Trent is just a little bit too much for him to handle. Again, I think Loud made some good decisions in that round. They were setting themselves up well, but it is Baby Bay with the op, finding 2 critical kills to maintain the advantage for G2 to trade off the back of.
And these kind of rounds, these are the more standard look here for Baby Bay, so I kind of like we got that mid cross up. Most of the time he's going to be doing this kind of thing.
It's op v op. Luxo has one on attack. Major investment from Loud. Even the Odin in the hands of Davi, they are spending all the cash they've got.
Luxo's been less op-oriented than Baby Bay, for example, as far as chamber players go. So interesting to see him pick it up here. Double face could be problematic. Some damage onto Luxo. And a brazen re-pick here at bottom mid. There is still a Sage Wall here over towards this B side of the map, so whichever way you slice it, Loud are going to have to make some noise to get onto this site. And VALORANT is in position. You can get some stall util here as well from the defenders.
Look at this G2. They are aware that Loud are just waiting for the wall to drop to go in off this execute. Counter paranoia is great from VALORANT.
Leafy going to sidestep away from that team. Stunned, but it's Davi going down first. Jorgamo is here. G2 have been waiting half the day for Loud to hit this site. They are well and truly entrenched. And from that anchored up position, VALORANT's able to snipe Luxo away. Erda's not getting a free kill like this. Trent is being very passive on that line. Slowly, G2 are going to scale up this side control. Now Jaw might attract some attention, but Erda's had to give himself up. That position now noted, and it's all too easy for G2 to capitalize.
They have the read earlier in the round to get the rotation headed towards that B side, expecting that the hit would come in when the wall expires. They're right. And because of that, they fully maintain that backside control. You know, the wall from Erde, yeah, it provides some safety going up on stairs so they can get the plant down, but with no control of that backside. It just feels like an inevitability that G2 are going to win out that post plant.
Super disciplined inside B, allowing Jorgamo just to be the pinball, bouncing around, knocking those Loud players out. And Odin here for leave.
Yep, just steals that away from Loud.
All right. We have a Loud timeout right now, for those that are wondering. And again, a chance to double back here to, I guess, some of the core ideas they bring into this game. These two teams, really similar styles on this map. And we know that Loud, they have the shooters, right? These guys can absolutely shoot. Luke Show is number 2 in the entirety of Americas for ACS, ADR, KPR, obviously, just behind Arsenal, of everyone, not just Chamber players. The question is this going to be enough to unseat G2 when they've kind of gone back to things that just feel natural to them? They've decided they're no longer trying to be a team that they're not.
There are a lot of cool parallels between these two teams, both in the players that have been most critical for their success in this stage, but also in that neither of them ever play the double duelist. Two of the teams to just completely ignore the meta for the sake of putting their players on the roles that they feel are best. This is a dangerous map pick, though, for Loud. It has to be said. Now, both teams are 2-0 on it. It makes sense, but you're looking at a G2 that have beat 100 Thieves here. Loud, their win was against C9 earlier in the season before they hit a nice little peak like they have today, and then versus Crew as well. So there's a different level in the competition, despite both teams looking good on it. But man, you're going to take G2 here on a map where they look this good, allow them to get their Lotus pick later. It's a tough pool for them to work through to get a win.
Now, Loud call a tech pause out of their timeout, just an audio issue. It should be isolated pretty quickly. Someone I want to talk about who said something in the interview that stuck with me. Is that Ode sort of said, no one's underestimating us anymore, right? They don't feel underestimated. They don't feel like underdogs here, except for me. And Ode, as someone who came onto the scene on this Loud team and actually had a fantastic stage 1, and we were all shocked because this is a very young player. We're talking goodness. I mean, very, very young, just old enough to play, comes in as an IGL.
Yeah, to the extent this guy, Erdo was 14 when Valen was already qualifying with the Guard to international tournaments. So.
Well, there's some perspective for you. And he said that he spent a lot of time on the mental aspect of his game because confidence is something that he just didn't feel naturally came to him. In stage 1, he was like one of the top players by stats in general, despite Loud, having their ups and downs. Stage 2 feels like it's been a little bit harder for Erde to recapture that level. Feels like he's definitely struggled a little bit in the numerical sense and still speaks as if he is looking for confidence in himself.
We have seen his ceiling, though, and so I do believe that he can absolutely get back there. Hell of a test today, though, where he has to focus so much of his energy just factoring in the IGL head-to-head that he's found himself in, and then beyond that, trying to put up a better performance than he's been able to individually the last few weeks. A lot on his plate to handle.
Because I watched Valen before the game started, bro has his eyes closed, he's doing some deep breathing himself. The guy's been served up top veteran IGL, one after another. Oh, bookended by the fact that he goes up against Vora at the start of this stage, coming fresh off an international championship and completely outdid him in what was a pretty enjoyable series. But at the start of stage 2, we're watching G2 still looking for their identity, losing to a team they haven't lost to for 2 years. And we're thinking, where are we supposed to go from here? How are they going to respond to this? But it's been that signature resilience for G2 that's been on display, especially when they do drop the first map of their previous series, or they have to fight back that Sentinels game. We see that grit that's got them here. There's a sense that it might have come through the other side. And frankly, if things go wrong for 100 Thieves this weekend, they could still top this group. It's unlikely, but it's still possible.
Yeah, some significant playoff implications either way that this game goes. But yeah, you talk about that first game, the loss to 100 Thieves. That was the sticking point for G2, which Valen and Josh have been discussing publicly. That was the moment in which they decided they needed some change. We have seen them try everything throughout this year. The double duelist at the beginning of the year with Waylay and then BabyBay picking that up and trying to make that work at Santiago, into trying to force the Harbor on every map, then going back to the most vintage comps possible with the Vice all the time, then back to double duelist. They have been struggling to figure out what works for them. But at least according to what Valen has said, he's felt like the past couple weeks of practice, switching to these comfortable roles, allowing BabyBay to play a ton of chamber, that he feels like this is the identity that they have been hunting for all this time. And hey, if that rings true, maybe they've landed on it at the exact right time, which is on their way to champs and the last global of the partnership era where they can try to lift that elusive trophy.
That's why I care about this game, because for me, it's G2 going from recovering to re-established, and this is a great start, obviously, as Loud simply impaled themselves upon the bayonets of G2 as they lie in wait. Okay, that's a stand-upper? All right, hot dog.
Got to get the energy back up after a little bit of tech pause.
But yeah,
like, back in the game.
For me, like after a game like this, yeah, okay, there's lingering questions about G2's international capacity. But I think here, beating the region's fastest rising challenger is kind of how you prove that returning to your comfort zone also means rediscovering that elite edge.
BabyBay is ready to push down mid. It's already found some important first bloods. That'd be a sick adjustment. Can't quite nail it.
Jaws the insert here, though. What can he do with this? Oh, BabyBay finds it in the flash timing. We hyped the matchup between him and Luxio. It feels like it's tough to count BabyBay out when he's got the op. So Luxio will have another crack at it. In the meantime, Loud are getting activated over towards that A side, the more lightly held side of the map for G2. This means unfettered passage into elbow for Loud.
Might end up in a situation where maybe they're going through elbow, Valen can just TP on that back box towards A, try to get one kill, fall back, play for a retake. Would love to get some good spam off here.
So that's going to be a retake set up here over towards this A side. Yeah, keep your eyes on the minimap, see if there's a TP in from Valen at some point, but Jaw, this was already cleared earlier on. The Trailblazer went straight down tile, so Jaw could just walk up there and find an easy pick.
Okay. That Haunter's Fury from Davi. They've been in a lot of post-plant situations, but G2 have been able to win them out. Maybe the ultimate can give them the edge.
Okay, Jaw's able to get into the site, though. He's been given a bit of a stay of execution there as Luxio doesn't quite connect a shot, but he's still at large. Jaw needs to clear the site, needs to get his hands dirty, but there are far too many plays ferreted away in the darkest corners. And BabyBay, with a good start this round, finds a pick through Flash. It's going to be Luxio back from the dead to punish him.
Teleport's ready.
Critical win for Loud at the exact right moment. Felt like it was going to go G2's way, not just because of the man advantage, but for another retake. They have been phenomenal with those. But maybe it's just the switching of the site, getting away from that B side that to some extent will give Loud a bit more of an advantage.
They invest so heavily in mid early in the round. That's why the A side is kind of soft, because Jaw gets inserted deep in mid for the defenders and does get that kill eventually towards tiles, but that's all that G2 get out of that exchange.
Let's play.
Not one to be caught without a scoped weapon. BabyBay fires up the tour de force, and Erde serves himself up. BabyBay's going to be TPing out of the way. Sat now inside market. Big paranoia. What a setup there from Darker. The sole Colombian player in the league does himself proud.
That's the kind of play that gives you the surge of confidence for Erde to get back into that elite form we saw on stage one. Luxio on the right angle, pushed up all the way through Boba.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's as clinical as it gets for Loud. G2's economy, though, still strong. They're going to be able to put together multiple buys in a row. Loud coming to life.
That's something to chew on, though, for G2. Sure, you got money, but that round, we saw some concerning trends start to emerge. That fast push-up tiles that BabyBay wasn't ready for into the paranoia in market completely undid G2.
Yeah, that was one of the prior Loud round wins. It did come down to a very decisive split execute onto B, coming through market, getting kills there. So maybe Loud are trying to, or rather they are figuring out the recipe for success here, narrowing down what has been working for them and trying to go back to the well.
Once again, Babyface on the op in hand. It would have had to be another big correction.
So many of these situations, yeah, where he's at the right part of the map, but needs to hit a crazy flick to actually find the kill. Not going to be able to get one with the fast lane.
Oh, again! What a setup from Darker. Leaf didn't know what hit him. And Babyface had to fall off the side and oh my goodness, okay, I thought that was him. No, Jaw with the backup.
All right, that time a little bit lighter in utility. TKZ might be regretting that decision.
Teleport's ready.
As G2, their bread and butter, they want to flood out of Boba, play off the util from Trent, still has that flash and can sync it up with a paranoia from Valen.
Relay bottom paranoia, two big pieces of util to get you into the site, but Loud completely unflappable by the looks. Baby found it Darker above the smoke, but still a sense for G2 that this round is unsalvageable.
This time Loud make the adjustment in that post plant. Their players are able to circumvent eating too much of the flashes, and then they're just ready to fight at that choke point together. I love the sequencing of Loud's utility to get through that site, the late paranoia, and even though TKZ got a little bit ahead of himself, trying to get some more kills, they're still able to close it out.
These first entrances onto these sites have been really big for Loud so far. It's been behind this Omen util. But yeah, you need a timeout at this point because your economy is teetering. Somehow, Babybay's been able to have a fourth round in a row here with the op, or an op-like weapon, despite G2 having lost the last three. That's because they've been conservative, saving at the end of these rounds, right? There's definitely been a sense that they need to keep that weapon in his hands.
And like we said at the beginning of the round, it's not like he's choosing the wrong positions to be in. He's had opportunities for the kills, but on the 50-50 angle that he's gone for, it's just been the wrong one a couple times in a row. So he's got to hit some insane flicks.
That's kind of the beauty of Chamber. You can post up in spots where there is a wrong answer, so to speak. You can get out with that rendezvous, but yeah, sometimes getting forced off that angle, not being able to find the pick, then being forced out of a site, being forced to retake in with that weapon is very, very challenging. And we've had that timeout from G2. Much of the conversation, of course, about somehow recouping that momentum that G2 built early in this game, because the last few rounds, it's been all about Loud.
Loud have had the answers for G2 playing into the retakes as the way to get rounds on defense. Of course, got to go right back to the Dre point of view with this op.
He's got some backup. He's actually got a defense side flash. Oh, no way! Erde just shows a little bit of his arm. Again, Jaw is invested in mid, tucked in, and there's the flash to play off of. Interesting timing to find that in there. This early round action, though, very favorable now for G2, despite, again, being very light on the A side with that investment in mid. They're not punished for it this time.
We've seen some of the best involvement in this half from Jaw coming with these pushes down mid and catching picks within them.
Loud, obviously, might look like they're dithering, but the reality is their options are very limited. They have next to no information. They have to organically re-clear mid. And now they're going to try and make use of it. Does this end up being a top mid split that feels like it's dangerous? It puts you in a crossfire situation.
They may have found the one lane that is not actually being watched actively, but if they get under this B site, they're going to be dealing with a retake from all angles, including B main.
Still, it's remarkable that they've even gotten to this point in the first place. This now means that winning in this round is in the realm of possibility.
5 potential lanes, they got the right one.
Yeah, G2 with egg on their face, honestly. They're dispersed across the map and they realize the one gap that they left has been exploited. Now it's a matter of them having to re-clear all of this under time pressure.
This individual skill from Loud is going to need to be on full display. They've got their star player and Luke Show alive, and Darker, who has hit some outrageous ceilings. We know what he's capable of. Sometimes it just comes down to him finding that consistency. This would be a 1v1 that could get Loud into this plant, and a lovely snap
That's an insane correction there. Jaw won out in terms of who got the better timing, and still Darker is able to come out on top. That is ridiculous. The headhunter, those strikes true. It's Dovey down, and it's on Valen. A captain's effort might be required inside the smoke, but Darker gets the better of him. That is a brutal round for G2 to lose. The Red Bull clutch for Loud evens up the game.
Finding that one lane on the map to get into the post plant.
No way, man. No way.
And the 1v1 from Darker against Jaw, finding that kill is critical. Feels like Darker is a guy on this team that when he is activated, at the same time as Lucho, at the same time as Tikazin, the Loud can just hit a completely different level. I mean, like I said, the ceilings that we've seen him hit in some of these series have been just insane. And if this is going to be one of those games, and if you have TKZ hitting on the Neon right now leading the league in average damage per round, and you have Lucho, who is just always in form. When have we ever seen him have a bad game? If that trio is hitting at their absolute maximum, G2 are going to be in trouble.
Leaf here just giving up this site now, just wanted to try and buy some time, and he has slowed things down for Loud, but this trickle has very quickly become a stream. Tikazin always asking for another opportunity to give an account of himself. Oh, Lucho catches Jaw out. Is there a follow-up? Oh, my goodness, you have the quick switch. Gets the better of Baby Bay. Not good signs here for G2 whatsoever. As Valen struggles to find a way in there. He certainly brute forces an approach route. Nice paranoia onto Lucho. This is a great way to set up Trent, but he's not really ready to capitalize on an inside B main at all. In fact, he's still playing slow and eventually going to be brought down. Devastating. And this is that quality that Loud are capable of. What a showing.
G2 were up 5-1, and it had their economy at the absolute peak. You're talking about Baby Bay. He's just buying it up every single round. That's how much money they've been able to store up. They're still getting the max loss bonus. Loud are never getting free anti-ecos. They have been grinding out every single round. They are earning them to get this lead.
Just a side note, you might have noticed we've been stuck in-game only for these last 11 rounds. Just some technical issues on the broadcast side. We're hoping to iron out as we get to halftime. In the meantime, we enjoy the action. Look at this fast push here. Trent already getting taken down over towards short, and Lucho brazenly duels Baby Bay in mid. He thought that getting an op in his hand would turn the tides. But Loud have not given him an inch.
Oh, Lucho's going to steal the op from his corpse, too, for this post plant. 5-on-3. G2 haven't even been able to win the recent post plants with the man advantage. Are they going to be able to do it with a man down, staring down a potential res from Airday as well? Odin spam coming through smokes while they try to make their entry into sight.
Jaw needs something to get him onto this line right now. Lucho is going to pluck him like an apple. It's Baby Bay served up yet again. Okay, he's used his teammate's body to get up on the line, and now onto the side. An explosion for G2 as they hurdle towards Loud. And it's Valen already posting up 3. Darker is low. A tap, a TP, and Valen intuits it. Another TP, but he knows this one's a fake. This guy reads him like an absolute book.
What's another death?
That's insane stuff there for Valen. The time, unfortunately, it's not enough.
Darker's been able to do it again in these late round clutch situations. It has been his day so far. He has displayed that he's at that crescendo of his play. That's where Loud need him to be. Lucho never not going to be topping the board for them. Loud are looking clean so far.
All right, let's head to a bit of a break here for halftime. We'll be back in a moment.
We handing out sweets like a broom, hey. Taking off. 247 not taking off. VDS stones ain't breaking off. All I know is win, I don't take a loss. Yo, taking off. GT3, I'm taking off. Locked in, we ain't finna play with y'all. Locked in, we ain't gonna play it off. Grind through the winter. Yeah, I grind through the summer. Go check the stats, we've been putting up numbers. 100 million, I feel like I'm stunner. They wanna copy the play and become us. Guess that's just part of the game, you dig. I had to work through the pain, you did. Now we up popping champagne, you dig. Drop the confetti, we had to show 'em who ready. Flooded the watch with baguettes, we max it out, we go legendary. Yeah, we taking it straight to the moon. These diamonds just lit up the room. I I go celebrate with my dogs. We handing out sweets like a broom. Hey, up, taking off. 247, not taking off. VDS stones ain't breaking off. All I know is win, I don't take a loss. Yo, taking off. GT3, I'm taking off. Locked in, we ain't finna play with y'all. Locked in, we ain't gonna, drop the confetti. Drop the confetti.
Loud didn't enter stage 2 trying to revive some old identity or go back to what worked for them in the past. They entered trying to build a new identity quickly enough for it to be relevant. And honestly, they're still in with a chance to make a big impact here in the postseason as we look towards champions. They're 2-1. They're taking G2 to task on one of G2's best maps. These are all very good signs.
6-round run on a Sunset that G2 are also 2-0 on. Just the confidence to pick this map straight into them and steal away that lead. Now they just have to get it done on defense. The G2 pistol round win rate is obscene. They're 15-6 right now in this stage.
Erde, as if he's almost mindful of this now, going to try and trend back on the side, but there's a beautiful little recon there. The like 3 of the G2 players up and loud do not care for your stats, your numbers, your statistics, or your fairy tales. That is a huge pistol round to win.
Look at the pace on that.
Flawless.
Full control of backside, and they are right into frontside. G2 don't have time to set up anything. Every player just dies like grouped up default. They can't even jump up. Like the 2 players dying at jump up. Loud ran them over. Actual freight train. I mean, I'm stunned by how decisive that was.
And I think if Loud hadn't just sort of planked last week against Sentinels in that 0-2, we'd already be kind of heralding them as having arrived, right? They would have been 3-0. In this game, I really do think the storylines would have been way different. But there's a reason why Erde is telling us no one dares to underestimate us anymore.
Vintage G2 on this round.
Ah, yes.
The Stinger Force Buy. We have not seen as much of it from them this year as we did in the last. But this became their go-to, the iconic buy. They had everyone trying to jump on it as well. Like, everyone was copying it.
It's a double stack here for Loud. Towards this alleyway, and they are going to hold that line. But again, against the weaker weapons of G2, they fold. Tigazine really had to find some inroads there, but being brought down, that is not good. Luke Choki is going to try and squeeze himself up on the angle, but the Outlaw's not really a portion for that job at all. And just some of the details here really being left out for Loud. That around they should have converted.
You get one of the highest impact heals from a Sky you've ever seen as well. Every single teammate on low HP. Oh my god.
Okay. Well, he's certainly given away his presence. For G2, it's a matter of grouping up and trying to overwhelm with these stingers.
And this might just be the Erde bounce back game of this second stage. This is the guy you remember from the first.
He turned anti-flash, knows what he could be walking into. He has the right idea. It's almost perfect. It's almost enough. But this is G2 we're talking about after all. And in a scrappy round, they claw it back.
Just dipping into the history of the team to bring back a strategy that worked so well for them last year. The classic Stinger Force Buy. They win it so narrowly as well. The damage that was coming through from Loud on that defense was so significant, but they just could not find the kills by a matter of like 20 HP on several guys. So
we really are going back to the well for G2, aren't we? just a reminder, we're having some technical issues. We are stuck in-game for the time being. We're hoping to resolve that after this map.
How did Tickerson just find that one?
We're going to thrifty each other back and forth, I guess. Yeah. The push-up for Erde over towards the B lobby, finding that kill with a classic.
Loud have nothing to work with, though, outside of the headhunter from Luxo. This is still very recoverable for G2.
We start asking ourselves, which of the lanes, though, are free? And as it stands, it's mid in that elbow position. Could hear a pin drop in here. Everyone really just focused up. A lot of jabbering from the G2 side because they're trying to discuss some contingencies, some possibilities, what might befall them as they try and fight a 3v5 on this side.
Trailblazer gets all of the valuable backside information, but how do G2 want to set up to win this out? The man disadvantage.
The idea of trying to clear and get control of market makes sense, and the timing is really good for G2. Tickerson brought down, but they're not expecting a second player to be there, so that's free for Erde. Davi caught out though. VALORANT happy enough to get revealed here if there's an opportunity, but Erde finds it another no. It's Luxo with the headhunter rather. Baby Bay, it's on him against 3. He's got to pull off the sides, and there's the headhunter. Loud, get it done. Convert. Another thrifty. And for G2, punishing just as they throw that spicy little stinger mix in. They get shut down.
They just give it right back to them with a way worse buy. Can't even call it a buy. They didn't buy it.
That classics, man.
The headhunter, you spawned with that. They did not buy a thing. I can't believe TKZ just found, he gets that random kill in A main on Jaw. Maybe just like overstepped in the smoke a little bit.
They did the same thing. You pushed up B main.
Even on that last kill, Luxo just knows that Dre is heading the teleport onto the top box. Already has the crosshair for it. Instant headshot. Bro, he is just a different breed. Luxo is on another level.
Hunter's Fury here off rip for Davi. And it's found Baby Bay already. That was the headhunter carrier.
This is G2 with an interesting buy. A get what you can while having enough cash for the next kind of buy.
Straight up buy down for next. Luxo flashed out though. There's a great opening here. Davi with the Odin deals with Leaf and Erde. Should be able to pick up the slack, but Trent is able to put together on a dime a nice little crossfire.
Oh, that shot could be perfect. Oh my god, just barely sidesteps that.
They don't know VALORANT is here. They don't know he's tucked into the corner, but the fast lane's going to break this up, and VALORANT now doesn't know where to be shooting. Darker still back in Boba. Davi steps onto the side, and what are we watching? What is this game? And what are these buys, man?
Loud get ahead of themselves, and it just creates a chaotic situation, and G2 are able to piece together some good team play, working off of each other on the site. Like in a moment where you have Erde kind of overstepping, gets caught, shot in the side by Trent, who has had jump up, and that begins a situation where the dominoes just fall for Loud. The VALORANT caught in the corner being flashed up multiple times is so ridiculous.
He's chilling. G2 have shown quite often that they're willing to scrap, play a muddy game. But that's Luxo's op already singing out early in the round.
G2 with a bit of pace, but now a moment of hesitancy.
Timing here
through this market.
This could be huge, Davi. Okay.
Oh, double spot. Yeah, he knows he just needs to get out of there. Players inside are isolated. Oh my god!
Snappy shooting there from Luxo, but going to be brought down by Trent, who quickly tries to close the pincer from the other side. Here's VALORANT now from B main, and that's the site clear of defenders. This mid lurk for Trent could be everything, and Darker walks straight into it.
This trade from TKZ is going to give Loud an opportunity.
Davi trying to play off his teammate who needs to emerge from a smoke. This is complicated. Okay, Baby Bay has to reveal himself now. TKZ smoke is about to expire. Baby Bay happy to play here through the shocks because VALORANT has already done the duty. And again, G2, it is... it's rough and tumble stuff out here on Sunset, but they clawed it back to within a round.
This is VALORANT in that form that I feel like we haven't seen too frequently recently, but you know that he has it in his back pocket. Like, he will put up crazy numbers while IGLing this team. I think back to earlier this year and a lot late last year as well. Like, I mean, especially when Bind was in the pool, he was a monster on that map. But he is always capable of taking over the game individually as well.
And it feels like it's the games where the structures really fall apart, where he actually switches from being that mastermind who's like going for these, you know, really elegant mid-round plays to just someone who mechanically steps up and always makes sure he's there at the right time. It's like he becomes more individualistic in some senses when we get these scrappier, muddier games. He gets to post up these big score lines. Almost up to 20 frags.
Yeah, he's spoken in the past about when he feels like he's at his best individually, it's when he really feels that he's letting the game come to him and he's not forcing any plays. And look, I could imagine a world where G2 feel like, maybe across the board, him included, do have to force plays, given how things have gone for them globally the last couple months, maybe trying to do too much. But maybe this is a moment where he can kind of just take a step back, ease into it, let the game come to him, and put on a star-level performance.
When we talk about these guys being in their comfort zone, I don't think this is a comfortable situation. I don't think Loud are letting them get comfortable. But it's another dimension. They're willing to play on this edge of your seat style. So it's going to get pretty deep. We're going to be lit straight away. He actually backs down. Now with the overdrive, Tkazine secures that elimination. It's Baby Bay there with a Tour de Force ringing out. They're going to press Sheik here on towards that short direction. This A side now is looking extremely soft.
They just wall off Luke Shaw on the flank.
Why not?
That's brutal. He is useless in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, they have the
God.
trademark already over towards the B side, so this is the only way they can really cover that flank possibility, and Leaf is, he's aware. He knows.
Spike planted.
One player in alley that's darker with the Sheriff,
Teleport's ready.
and then it's Luke Shaw. Second best player in Americas by the numbers. Second only to Arsena. Second fiddle to Leaf in this round. We've got an even game.
G2 do not succumb to the eco this time. Loud going to get that full buy off. A lot of opping from Luke Shaw going head-to-head against Baby Bay, who I think is one of the best attack oppers that we've seen in the league this year.
Yep.
I know I just mentioned kind of going back to Bind, but that was a map where earlier in the pool, when G2 had Dre playing different agents, he always was on the chamber, and the attack opping there was so clean.
But we saw that from Luke Shaw this game on Loud's attack side. It was instrumental for them getting that lead at
He's actually
half-time.
gone away from it, though. He's just got the rifle, and he's pushed up into B main. Tucked in the corner, flying off of Verde.
This is pretty committed stuff from Loud. Look at them double up. Paranoia now, fast push for Jaw, but Dark is unaffected by the near sight, and that has blown up in G2's face. They traded into that position, at least get the frag, and Leaf knows he needs to reach for more. This needs to be a clean pickup. Darby though swings out, and the Odin does the dirty work for Loud.
What went wrong there for G2? Jaws just fully exposed out in the open, gets caught by Darker.
The Paranoia
Seekers
doesn't hit Darker.
Yeah, and the Seekers come just a tad late around that corner. Timing's just perhaps a bit off, and it's exploited by Darker tucked. I like that Leaf tried to like accelerate over the wall, catch something to even things up, but Loud were quick to get back into that A site, get Davy some help.
That round was worth 2 for G2. Those are the ones you really can't afford to have a gap in your execution.
And not just a loss, but like a clean loss. Loud's economy is going to build off the back of that significantly.
It's going to be harder to keep them quiet as we get towards the late stage of this map. Jaw, an impromptu split towards the top of the map. The Sage will really going to assist with this. It's Luke Shaw finding Trev, but traded out now. It's getting hot and heavy though over towards the market side with a spike loose. It's Jaw's overdrive that clears the Sage.
Darker wanted to cross the map with that teleport, but it's cancelled out. Doubled up with Davy, 2 versus 3. Jogamo low on HP, not going to have a heal anytime soon from Leaf.
There's no play here for the Odin. So double stack, multi-stack swing off this. Darker falls down and Davy just holds M1 in praise.
G2 able to stabilize in a chaotic situation that they've created with that B split coming from so many different angles.
These early round accelerations though have been pretty impressive for a team that we've known in the past to sit back a little bit and rely on strong mid-rounding and good reads.
You can see why Davi picks up the Odin on this map. He's trying to break that wall so quick, but yeah, even still, G2 are able to get that exec off. Jaws overdrive was critical there. He hasn't been putting up the outrageous numbers on this map that we've seen in the last couple outings, but in a crucial round there, he gets critical kill onto Airday.
Look at this from TZ, not accounting for Valen tucked in that right side corner though. Baby doing what he does best. Hold a line and let the game come to him.
Cover going out.
And Loud might have thrown their economy away now. Important pickup for Luxio to relieve some of the pressure, but that A side is already being scrutinized heavily by the attackers.
3 versus 4. Loud are going to want to find a pick somewhere. They're going to need an opening, but with Davi going down, surely they just save now in the 2 versus 4. Like, you want to see them try to poke and prod at G2 a little bit, see if they can find the opening, but that is tough when you're dealing with the attack op and you're just taking little dry peaks like that.
Luxio has the op back to hand now. And obviously an investment made here by Loud to try and keep it. G2 let things slip. They could have really run away with this second half, a few rounds back, if they're able to convert with that A main play. But honestly, they've looked very good. Loud are sharpening them up properly. One for Luxio as we exit the round.
Back and forth map, and I wouldn't have expected anything else for Sunset, honestly. Both teams have been really strong here. Both 2-0, but that's going to change today. One of these undefeated teams is going to be served up their first loss, and G2 are on the precipice of dealing that to Loud, taking the lead, 11-10. Economy so strong. Again, it has been this whole game. Loud just constantly up against full buys, constantly up against the Baby Bay op.
But that last round, that's the one round where Loud throw a variation and try and sneak their Neon up mid and get shut down instantly. That's going to have a real conditioning effect.
I've seen Luxio tuck at this box before.
Oh, he's not content to stay still. G2 have a trap play. Or will they just walk up on this line? Not be a multi-swing, but Luxio, yeah, I mean, he can't be punished for that. And he finds the attack side op too. It's 3 damage on Trent, collided him.
Damage onto him.
Okay, an acceleration now for G2. That's a response. They're going to Trailblazer into this side. The Waldorf is going to waylay them more than just a little bit. Still, Jaw is in the side. What kind of ruckus can he drum up?
Yeah, the rest of the team needs to get out there and help him. Oh my god,
okay.
What? They just find 2 immediately. That's outrageous.
This confident for G2 in those little bursts, for me, has been astounding. Early round, now after a horrible start. Like, Luxio gets like 220 damage off the break, and still, G2 smile at the devil.
Davi trying to get in here. Wall has to be broken first. G2 players all over the site. That's a great first kill. The Odin getting so much damage off.
Tough to win from this situation though, Wyatt. No matter what, a 2 versus 4 in a disadvantageous position.
Match point.
Loud gets sent packing yet again after about as good a start as you can ask for. Luxio has been incredible this game, but it wasn't enough.
And though he had been quiet for a long stretch here, Jogamo has come to life on these critical last few rounds. 3-piece there. Had a really good overdrive on a prior round as well when that split onto the B site came in. The impact is finally there for him. G2 get themselves onto match point. This is Loud's map pick. They've been great on it. It's bold still to pick it into G2.
Some of the possibilities have already been narrowed down. Sage will over towards B, pretty forward posting for Luxio in mid, looking down into tiles. G2 don't get any early action here on the A side. Is Baby Bay really going to ask for this? Look at that concentration, furrowed brow, face closer to the monitor. Makes a bit of sound though as he backs off that. Could be quite telling. He's going to try his luck on the short side, but immediately he'll be met with one way. So he's done at A for now, surely.
Here, the one anchor on this B side. You'd hate for him to go down while he has the res. Definitely wants to be able to play to that. This might just be Loud's final round on the game. It's going to come down to a 5-on-5 retake. We'll see if their confidence picking this map, whether or not it'll backfire. Oh my god, Airday is on point. Leaf caught on the jump up. That's a 6-second shot.
G2 have already been knocked down to 3 players, and Airday doesn't need to ask for more. He's done his job. He's already proven himself, and yet he gets another opportunity. Jaw falls. Eventually, Loud are going to go for this. Luke Show finds that shot on Trent, and it's on Baby Bay, and he 1v4, and they know where he's fallen back to. That from Airday is absolutely ungodly.
We are seeing him finally in this second stage in that elite form that he just bursted onto the scene with back in the stage 1. Playing those last few games when he was finally able to join up with Loud. Was waiting for months to be able to get here, finally got the visa resolved, and he was fantastic. Seemed like he was going to be just a revelation for the team. Finally, the piece to turn them around, and then in that offseason, they bring in Tikazine as well, bring in Davi, and Tikazine feels like the guy they've been needing, though. He's gone a little bit quiet on this map, as Jaw's been able to step up on the opposite side. 2 of the best Neons that we've seen in this stage so far, though. By the eye test, by the stats, both of them are up there. I mean, Jaw is leading for his team in most stats categories, if not all of them. Tikazine is just right up there next to Luke Show. Man hard to pass, but...
Interesting that Loud might be opting to give Tikazine the off. Coming into this round, it's been Luke Show up until this point. And again, like, yeah, Tikazine's been a bit quieter, but there have been a couple of rounds on this defense side where like they've tried to pop around in Neon. It's just not worked out. Like they've run into Baby Bay attack side opping, holding a line over on the A side, or Valen waiting in mid to shoot him in the back, right? You get into those kind of flows sometimes as a Neon player.
Josh Artsy with a lot of confidence in the team to be able to solve their problems on their own. Saves a timeout for match point. 12-11, he gets involved. Look at the state of the ultimates that G2 have, though. He wants to be able to get involved to get them across the finish line. Steal away the map pick of Loud.
You want to play? Let's play.
Daughter Force here from Luke Show. You've got to have a plan! You've got to have a plan to try and play in a B main like this. Baby Bay just walks up on the line. It's so easy for Luke Show. Now, there is a res here for Trent. So getting Baby Bay back into the game is trivial. It's what you do after the fact. Look at this TP for Val. He's sticking it. Wyatt, he's sticking it.
Loud routed out of the site. They tried to get in quickly. Oh my god, Jaw dealt with by Davi, and that could be the opening for Loud to just get into backside. Begin this retake.
There's no market presence here for G2. They are really limited in their positioning. They're at risk of being surrounded by Loud now with 5 players, all hungry.
The wall has to be broken. That's going to dwindle some time out the clock. What a shot from Tikazine. That is crucial.
Finally getting the up to hand. Baby Bay now is going to have to do something here at the back of the side. Leaf at least shuts Tikazine down, but it's an easy res. Luke Show's found Leaf, and Baby Bay steps up into the line. Loud have done it, securing overtime. And not even a Josh RT timeout could change it.
No fight.
Luke Show is just on a completely different level. It's against G2 that he's doing this, man.
Switching sides.
27 kills in regulation.
Sardak said it himself when he himself went up against Loud. He says this team is unrecognizable. This is none of the players that were, you know, a part of that global at Madrid in 2024. Completely different. And maybe that's just as well, because this is the new generation coming out of South America, and Loud, they've got it. They've got what it takes to succeed here. And now they're putting G2 under some serious pressure on their map pick of Sunset.
I mean, hell, if you're Luke Show, you're looking at Sato, your old teammate from Galoris when you were trying to qualify into the league. You watch him lift the trophy at London. You've been playing this well since joining Stage 2 last year. He wants to get a taste of that same global success. Oh my god, just, yeah, another first blood, why not? Leaf is removed from the server.
The B main plan for G2 doesn't feel very complex. They've not been able to set up a set play, they've not been able to flash themselves, drone themselves onto the line. They've just been bleeding players on that part of the map every round.
Jaw pinged up, no choice but to try and escape back towards market.
At least here there's some backside presence for Loud. Makes that flood back in for G2 a little bit more complex.
Trent still with the flashes to get out backside. Valen with that paranoia. How many times have we seen them sync these up and find success? Getting back in through Boba. Finding early picks. They're going for it again, but Jaw, the counter flash is nice.
I love this from Davi. He actually gets ahead of the smoke that was thrown inside B main, so we could stay relevant in this fight, but Tigazine's already found 2. That's got to be enough, surely, especially with Darker being immovable. Trent, though, unstoppable. It's not enough. Huge, huge round for Loud.
I think one of the most impressive things, honestly, from Loud in this game has been their ability to deny these G2 retakes over towards B. It seemed like this was just going to be another clock in, clock out kind of sunset look for G2 because at the very beginning of the game, they're up 5-1. They're playing for a bunch of B retakes, and they're all working out. But Loud have been able to find the answers. They're not getting overwhelmed by the retake utility that G2 are throwing in. They've been able to dodge away from it, have good swing timings to fight back when the players are coming out of the choke. You're seeing Airday having the slow orbs ready to go to stop them.
That has to be a timeout here for G2. Josh, again, needs to intervene. Tried this on match point. Didn't work. Loud seems so impervious here to the different looks that G2 are throwing, and frankly, they're thriving under this pressure. I know you guys haven't got to see much of the players on this match because we're having some technical issues. We're very much just stuck in game for the time being. But what I can tell you is Loud are looking like they're having fun. G2, not so much. We're going to be back into the game in just a moment now as that timeout has elapsed and Loud are poised to take their map pick.
The anxiety for G2 beginning to set in.
This should do.
I can't understate how much I feel that Loud need to win this map. We're heading to Lotus next. They haven't had a lot of success there. That is a top of the pool G2 map through and through, just all time. Feels like Loud need this one no matter what. And that time Luke Show is denied by the flash. Forced away. Not even upping this time, actually has that rifle.
It makes it expensive, though, for G2 to get into the map when they have to flash clear B main or lose a player every time they go there.
Enemy tag.
That's acceptable losses.
Sick info from Davi.
G2 are accelerating, but not in the direction they thought they would. In fact, it's just market. Now they're going to amble their way out onto their B side. Davido, yeah, again, he looks uncomfortable. Tikazina threatened to be overwhelmed, but he holds his line beautifully. Baby Beto has dug Ode out. This leaves Tikazina alone. He needs to buy some time to link up with Darker. But where is he supposed to run to? I like the idea, really, some improvised cover there for Tikazine, but eventually he had no choice but to fight.
The Darker was just so concerned about some kind of lurk presence in mid that he's not able to
He's just
get
slow.
that side and hurry yet to actually sync up with Tikazine. Listen, we've seen him clutch out some rounds, but this would be monstrous if he pulls it off.
Inching forward, that's a beautiful opener for Darker. Streaky performances, sometimes incredible, sometimes almost absent. Still searching for consistency in a round like this, giving Loud a map win would be massive, but Leaf at point blank will knock him down a peg.
Yeah, that's perfect, just waiting with the flash out, second there's the tap. Pop it and swing right onto Darker. 13 all. G2 dismantle that B site. It begins with that stun catch onto Luke Show in the corner. Had already teleported like just prior, so he's just caught, exposed. Jaw gets that easy first blood. And from there you just have a Loud without enough reinforcements trying to hold back site.
I think G2 rise and fall right now wired on whatever their protocols are at B main. Whether they're playing against an Opera or not, in this case they are. Giving Luke Show that early lead, that early surge of confidence and player advantage seems pretty unwise.
Drone forces Baby Bay away. Here comes that fast split onto the B site. Stun is good. Jaw irrelevant now in this situation.
His position from Leaf though. I don't know if they're going to expect this timing at all. He's having to at least pluck Tikazine away. And Jaw's waiting for his chance to break through. He got rid of the... Whoa, what a fight to take! Ooh, maybe overestimating his chances there. And Baby Bay ends up getting traded out by Davi with the open, but this is pressure. This is G2 playing with some pace, but it's on Trent. It's been messy. And G2 have had to trade down. Luke Show spots Trent in the periphery and gets his 30th frag.
Only a matter of time until he got the 30 bomb in this game. Already had the 27 at regulation. Every time we've been on his point of view, if there is a easier shot for him to hit, if you put it in that category, he's just never missed it. Every time he has had an opportunity to get a straightforward kill,
Given
he's nailed.
Digizine at the moment, something we also kind of praise him for.
He wants to close it out with the op on defense this time. No more business with the rifle.
Fast lane's going to get G2 in pretty quickly, and yep, the stopping power is there.
Yeah,
Luke Show.
He'll be glad to have gotten that op and teleports right back to site, right back to safety. G2 lacking their duelist, lacking someone to get deep in the site on one of these execs.
Lacking an answer for Luke Show early in these rounds.
Erde and Davi in some trouble. They're being surrounded right now. They're going to need assistance from the rest of the team. That's a great opening from Trent.
Davi's got nowhere to stand. It's uncomfortable. Erde at least is able to slow things down for G2. He needs to buy a little bit more time. He got some damage, and Darker was able to chime in eventually from Market. This knocks G2 down to 2. This is Loud's moment. Their chance to take a must-win map in this series. And Tikizine's already snuck into B. Darker wants to go 2 now. This smoke threatens to break them up, but Tikizine doesn't care! He'll take matters into his own hands. Loud deliver there. What a stunning showing on Sunset. That's the start you're looking for in this series.
Tikizine has proven more than his worth so far in this stage. What an addition to this Loud roster. Was struggling earlier in that game and hits a crazy bounce back to close it out.
Be fighting another chamber this time around, because we see Baby Bay move over towards the Vice. Another part of what really gave G2 success. When Baby Bay first joined up, he drops 351 ACS against Crew on this map, gets that regulation 30 bomb. He was very happy with himself. Expect G2 to lean back on those similar strengths.
This is what I wanted to see from Loud in terms of their comp, though. Tikizine going over to the Neon. They've been running the Rays here. This Loud team, they're 4-1 on maps when they have Neon, 1-3 without it. I think this switch could be pivotal. Already backside and gets the 2K to open it up.
That is an insane haunt that really makes it deterministic for Tikizine. He knows exactly what he's walking into there. Sometimes eliminating the element of surprise is all you need to do to set your duelist up for success. G2's pistols, up until now, have been phenomenal, but Loud has certainly put a dent in that metric.
They're happy to play it just a little bit more passive backside. Those angles are really nice. When the defenders are trying to push forward in the center of this site, it's Baby Bay alone. No time, 1 versus 3. Loud have started this game in the exact way they wanted. But yeah, I'm telling you, this Tikizine Neon, I think this switch is going to make a big difference. They're heading in the right direction with their comp. When you've got him on the Neon, leading the league in average damage per round, you've got Luke Show on the Chamber, and you have Darker in form today. We were getting moments from Erde popping off. Feels like, individually speaking, everyone is showing up right now. And that could be enough to beat G2, even though on paper, yeah, you're obviously looking at G2 as the team to have better team play. This Loud roster have only been competing together for a couple months.
And honestly, like, for them to step here onto Lotus and reverse their fortunes would be such a huge validation, not just to the project, but to the preparation that Loud have brought into this game, a game they know is really important. G2 having a later stab at it, but they're going to have a number of players waiting behind their toxic screen. They actually flash themselves through it, but Luke Show, man, he is always waiting. Takes contact with the Marshal. He's more than happy to go back for a little bit more now on that side. Baby Bay tries to set things up with an Arc Rose, but he is very alone and very outnumbered and very outgunned.
Yeah, Luke Show can just call to the team there that he spotted 2 players on A. Easy decision to just brute force their way into that C site.
Luke Show moves up to cover the cross. Erde will watch their backside. More money. Less problems, apparently, for Luke Show. Valorant here. Not do too much as the round comes to a close. And again, that's 2 rounds in a row where G2 run into Luke Show at some point on the map and end up in a deficit.
What are Loud going to put together on the buy here? They can commit fairly heavily into the rifles on this bonus.
Maybe they opts not to give up that C site. Makes a gambit for a flash play that falls flat.
I'll find you.
This time Loud are playing to really get out on the safe side. It's a little bit delayed with that haunt.
Oh, they're certainly forcing the issue a bit there, Wyatt.
Yeah. Caught out.
I think Jaw heard the TP to Rubble, so was pretty ready to be swung.
No smokes to play with for this execute. Loud are going to have to pick up some significant opening kills on a side of the map where G2 are swarming over to assist Jaw.
And Jaw just showing us, though, a kind of play that's always quite successful on this map, right? It's just to fall off those positions behind some util, get some damage, play your life.
Look over on that C side. Luke Show activates the wall. He just runs right through it. He's getting into that site. He's calling for the team to get over on C.
How deep in halls can they get? Because that's going to be an area G2 try and flood for.
Luke Show is playing forward with just that headhunter. He could be the critical factor in Loud winning this round, unless he's just caught by Trent. And yeah, he is right out, exposed in the open. Darker is miles away on this lurk. He would have to hit the ridiculous timing to be a major factor in this round.
Tigazine can be impactful. Looks like, okay, Paranoid didn't hit, but the flash certainly did. Tigazine tries to get off the line, but it's going to be caught on his way out. Leaf elsewhere, though, did fall, but the numbers are heavily favoring G2, and they're swarming over this seaside.
Seizes Knights and it's planted for Davi out here. There is a chance for Loud. Look at Darker on the run. They'll never expect this.
Trent shot in the back straight up. Davi now trying to be safe here out towards Mound. Babybay knows he needs to dig him out as part of the win condition, but now he's got a solo play back into the side with no time left.
It was only Valen who could have even gone onto the site in time. He has to teleport up there. Darker knows exactly where he is, just gets the spam kill. I mean, you are just waiting the whole time to see if Darker is going to be able to find impact. Will he get there in time, at the right time? And he absolutely does. I feel like Davi is always just so reliable in these late round situations as well. Like a supportive player, kind of through and through, I feel, for this team until it is clutch time. He will provide for them.
See, Josh was calling a timeout before he even knew the result of the round. He didn't need to see how that was going to end up. And that round all starts with Luke Show getting it to see, tripping the shield wall, but not baiting it out and falling back to Mount. No, he goes straight through and gets set up in halls. This is, okay, it's one thing, right? It's one thing for Loud to win in overtime on Sunset. It's a great map for G2, undefeated on it up until this point. Lotus, though, would be a completely different story. Loud have to beat G2 on their own terms to really cement a victory here, to really make it undeniable. And a bonus round win on the attack side is huge.
This is the kind of win of significance that you're looking at Loud as a team that could make a serious run into the playoffs, that they could have a chance of making it to champions. And just to touch on Luke Show here for a second, who we will be, just saying his name 1,000 more times as the series goes on, because he is just an unbelievable player. But right now, it's not even coming down to the kills for him. We're seeing his impact in terms of the space that he's getting, and you could just see that he is guiding his team, calling them from the opposite sides of the maps and getting them into the right positions to take these sites. He's been highly impactful in different ways.
There.
Good call off the rip, though, sees Loud with a very weak A site. So they can scale deeper into this part of the map without having a toll exacted on them. Oh, that is about as pinhole as you get. This is very quickly precipitated. A collapse on towards the B side of the map. Leaf waiting for it, but the paranoia has forced him to get moving.
Loud want to get some additional space to pushing into the spawn. Darker is in some serious trouble, but now Jaw doesn't know where to look with this showstopper. He can't find a target.
No one to shoot at. They've already gotten off that side entirely. This does leave Loud pretty stretched across the map, but they're not ready for Darker. Stuck around the corner.
Planted.
You thought G2 had the answers, but Now we're in the post plant. Look at the plant location on C, by the way. It's right at the back of the site. And we're in G2.
Oh, I mean, Antikazin has already found 1 kill. He just needs to escape. I mean, I was
Where's
going to
Valen's
say,
help?
like, Loud have multiple win conditions to play for here. If Davi gets a kill, he'll have a Nightfall. Antikazin can run around with the overdrive.
Antikazin getting a 1v1 against Valorant earlier, now picking up Baby Bay here. Trent caught in the seas, nowhere to go. This is about as bad as it could possibly be for G2. And they've got nothing to say in this round. Loud, so adaptable, dive on towards B, and then bounce across to the complete other side of the map after Jaw pulls the showstopper.
And not just this round, but the prior, we have just seen Loud masterfully working the map, exposing all of the gaps. And on top of that, they're closing out the rounds.
This is what you need to see from the attack side of Loud. You want to see them really amass an unassailable total. That's the upside of having this map picked against you. That timeout for G2 just doesn't really make much of a difference there.
Now Luke Show is getting the operator into the fold.
Let's have a listen into Loud now. See how they navigate this round.
E abre árvore e leva árvore.
Edge, vai ter o Leaf dando strafe.
Ah tá, nem precisa, não, deixa eu arcar aqui. Vamos voltar pra B. Vamos secar B, tá?
Tá.
Mano, vamos fazer uma coisa, Luke, ainda não pica, espera um pouco mais.
E o gol não há, depois é que o menino agora, guys.
Sim.
Sim, é possível.
Tá, Dark, você Lucas
Mano pelo, quebra.
É, tem 3 ventão. Tá, entendi. Domina C? Não, já dominou C ou não?
Não.
Não, então, pode aqui e depois voltamos pra A.
Tá, você pode estar em
E
cima.
voltamos pra A.
Você pode estar em cima. Eu vou ver se eu mato o cara de strafe.
Pode ligar?
Espera, vamos fazer barulho, vamos BTK, já volta, Davi.
Vou voltar. Quer fazer um fake?
Quebra as coisas, não, quebra as coisas.
Teleport's ready.
B. Haze.
Sim, é 1-3-1, guys, tá? A Vice não há com...
Ele vai fazer tempo na árvore, tá?
Omina, guys.
Ó, vai ter espinho aqui, ou espinho aqui e aqui, tá?
Ele é meu igual.
Tem que execar por fora, e eu vou sozinho na árvore. Alguém
Bora,
vai ter que a bomba. O Urge.
Tá.
Up, guys, set escada.
Bora.
2. Guys, se é homem no bomb, depois é que o menino aqui, ok?
Tá.
Eu faço um WC ou Vango Vax aí, tá?
A Secret já fechada. Smoke a igreja.
Guys,
Quando tiverem pronto, digam que eu vou abrir porta. Eu tô pronto. Vai, vou abrir.
Vamos olhar cá. 2, molete.
Bangaram tá na árvore. Mano, eu vou stunar stairs e a gente vai aqui, tá?
Tem um gol. Não consigo passar até cá.
Árvore.
Tem gol. Mano, bota.
Eu olho, Chico, vai, bomba. Planta.
Dá cover.
Ah, só vai.
Dá cover, guys.
Planta.
Desce o gol.
Planta fechar com o louco.
Mano, olha me custa, Luke.
Olha, minha. Cell é Viper. Sky também. Voltar. Os dois céus. Vou abrir pro céu.
Vamos aqui, close.
Dois céus, my bad.
Tá.
Tô dando reload. Tá, ok. Relaxa agora. Tá de
Aí,
smoke, tá um
homem.
backside. Cuidado pra fora. Abra no meu, TK. Abra no meu.
Eu tô mirando a mock,
Eu tô
guys.
de bang, guys.
Eu tô mirando a mock.
Abre com o TK, tá? Se ele te der strip, Davi. Boa. Backside. Vamos, caralho! Up-bomb, pega o up-bomb.
We are watching a real-time evolution of this Loud team. Something that stood out to me throughout listening to all of those comms is just that you were hearing Erda's voice the whole time. How many times have we done a comms listen and the IGL of a team is barely saying anything in a mid-round and someone else doing all of it? That has happened a lot. But Erde was just doing it the entire time, just guiding everything.
I do want to point out that Davi is the only European nationality that can actually communicate with the Brazilian in their native language, right? Which is kind of fun. There was a lot of Portuguese being spoken there. It's Chilean. But still, these guys able to get on the same page. And now, yeah, G2 should be worked through pretty comfortably here. Nice little paint shell pick up, and Tigazine happy to ratchet up the pace a little bit.
G2 over on this A side did not want to give up the free space again. They have been relatively soft-spoken there with the util they're throwing out, the presence that they're showing. They choose to do that on the eco round, and well, up until this point, they'll be happy to have gotten those 2 kills, but Leaf is in some trouble on the run. Cloud is going to obscure the vision of those Loud players. They can't find the pick.
Here, you really want to deny any chance for G2 to slow the game down. Leaf was there for it.
Yeah, that could have been the moment of the round. But ultimately, Leaf, with just that Sheriff, no real opportunity to get an important kill.
Where are you?
Yeah, Baby Bay thought twice about playing that solo flank towards his mountain side wide. He did get a Phantom. But he knows he needs to double up with Trent here, but he's going to have to be quick about it, man.
And he's gotten that rifle at the cost of time.
Yeah. Honestly, that might not have been an equitable exchange in the end for G2. This is cutting it fine.
Damage is irrelevant. It's about round wins at this point. Loud have maxed out money.
Trent falls and he's on his own. I mean, contrast that with the timing of Darker turning up on that late flank through halls on the round that they won. Baby Bay does well here, but again, it just doesn't matter in the end. Putting pressure on the economy of Loud is all well and good, but you are down 0-6.
Yeah,
You've got yourself a rifle at least, but that's it.
They're maxed out except for Luke Show, who is opping and has
Buying
the tour de force.
yeah.
So just, it doesn't even matter, right? We are beyond the realm of G2 finding any success with just getting some kills in this round. It's not even a consolation prize. They need something on the board.
But I mean, like, Josh Archie needs to keep a timeout for the attack side, surely, right?
The difference in Loud's ability to just leap on opportunities playing this attack side with the Neon versus the Rays in the past, night and day.
And Loud, like, bear in mind, Loud are only really halfway through their stage. This is their Super Week, right? They've got to play 2 games. But winning at G2 is huge for their playoff chances.
Now with the full buy, G2 opt to continue that early A presence. A lot of noise, a lot of util. And they've got the defensive read that Loud are going to be pivoting into this Seaside exec, and if they do commit to that, they'll be dealing with the Viper and the Vice here.
Loud haven't really left themselves with another option here. They have no B main information. They haven't cleared any utility in B. So they're committed to this, and they're going to go in. Tigazine at the 4. They're able to clean Leaf up pretty much straight away. Steel Garden took a while for it to kick in, and before it does, Erde takes a kill on Baby Bay. And by the time G2 can do anything at this side, they're going to have their primaries back.
And no one on the minimap, you can see, is even in position to get there to help Valen. Alone versus all of Loud falls. G2 have no option here but to save. This is the map of the 2 going into it where you favor G2 significantly. Sunset, that feels like on some level a toss-up going into it, but if you really just want to get into the fine details, yeah, both teams were 2-0, but G2 beat a better team in 100 Thieves than either of the teams Loud have beaten. So it's like, okay, maybe we're on paper kind of favoring them, but no matter which way you slice it, that one's going to be closer. And yet Loud are up 7-0. They are working the map masterfully, and even there in a situation where they're hitting that C site, running into the Vice util, dealing with the Viper, they are still able to run them over because Tigazine is just in sick form on the Neon to get that opening against Leaf, and for Baby Bay to then feel the pressure of potentially getting killed from backside, people rushing him from the front. He just has no options. Loud are just relentless on this attack.
Came out and gets out early. It's the stinger look for G2. Works an uncanny amount of the time. Leaf, though, has got to be carved out of position in B main. They're still fighting. They're still fighting at Mount.
This is ridiculous. Erde has just teleported behind them with his ult in the midst of all of this. So everyone at Mount is surrounded.
I mean, yeah, G2 just not owning the respect on this map. Opening the door for some of these more wild plays from Loud.
And they're able to exploit an early mistake there in Tigazine not being timed up with that haunt. That's the best opening they've gotten damn near ever in this entire half. But it's not enough.
All this talk about G2 having a rough start to the stage, but still being title contenders, falling back to what works for them, what they're comfortable with, a style, compositions, a map pool that is familiar and they can lean back onto. They're now going up against the team who also doesn't want to play double duelists, who also lean heavily on their chamber, on their Vice, and they're getting absolutely rickrolled.
Josh feeling that there is no option but to take a timeout here.
So what is this attack size?
I mean, look, like historically you favor, attack on Lotus, right?
Sure.
But you need a little bit of a cushion.
The most accomplished chamber player in the league, and honestly, just outside of chamber, one of the very best we have in Americas. Luke Show starts last year and looks insane straight away. We knew. We got to see him in challenges. We knew he was a talent. We didn't know just how quickly he would rise, though, on the biggest stage.
And since then, throughout that stage 2 last year, the beginning of this year, you're watching Loud, and there are times where you are just like pleading for them to get him some help. Earlier this year, it feels like it was coming from Darker when he would have those games where he was hitting his ceiling, but wasn't consistent enough to always be there for Luxo. But in this edition of the roster, where they've brought in Tikazine, who has just been an unbelievable pickup from the Crew Academy, sick duelist, and when you have a game like this where Airday's in form, where Davi is supporting well, this is every cog in the machine that Loud have created turning at the same time.
Let's listen in. What's the plan for G2?
Three. Open door.
Open door, we fight.
Neon could be in ceiling.
Odin and
Neon could be behind you, Shrine, okay?
I'm trying to pick it up.
Have your main. Just hold. I'm holding for me.
The B people ran away, okay?
Alex has C. Can we clear our ghost?
Should I just scout?
We gotta re-clear the ghost.
Yeah, do it.
You
They're
should
gonna
do
clear
it.
me
You
C
should
right
do
now.
it. You should alt.
Heard. Scouting.
Wait,
They just took C.
one.
Open door A.
Just fade. Fell all the way back.
Cabbages are going A.
Push.
I'm gonna peek with the break room.
Bomb A.
One more Neon.
More Nate.
Spike down.
I have your front B, Nate. I'll backfill you.
Holding pit.
2-1 Nate. Good, baby. Show. Two, Trent.
Two.
I'll group up with you. I can't flank no more.
All Thorn.
Thorn,
Didn't see
Thorn
chamber,
now?
guys, okay?
Wasn't from B. They weren't from B. I'm gonna help A. You play for B.
Dre's good, didn't hit.
I have flash for you, okay?
They'll be
I can
pinned.
flash.
Flash for the...
They know.
left.
Flashing 3, 2, 1.
You need dog from return.
Flashing again. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Dog out the
Dogging.
Default full
Tuck
blind.
now. Tevin.
Your boys are behind you. Just keep living, Dre.
Oh man, dead.
Default. Get ready to fight left. Jump out, fight left.
3, 2, 1.
One.
One enemy
Default.
remaining.
Stuck default.
Default stuck. Hard stuck.
Last player
78.
standing. 10 seconds left.
Nice! Get the up.
Come on!
Get the up. We need the up. We need the up. Tree. Hot dog. Let's go.
Much needed round for G2, but boy, they have to dig deep in order to win it. That Odin looked like it was threatening to derail them for a 9th round in a row.
Yeah, they get away with that by the slimmest of margins. That was going to be another Davi clutch moment. Those Seekers from Trent in the mid-round were so important. Whenever you listen to the G2 comms, even when they're down in a game like this, it's still just so regimented, no over-talking, there's no cross-talking. It's just so clear and concise as to what they want to do at any given moment.
That's why the floor for G2 is like the ceiling for others. The floor's not enough today. It's not been enough so far. Not so many ways to get free information now for the defenders. They can't call on the Seekers again. Trailblazer clears B main for G2, but they don't know about A. They're about to know.
Maybe they always shifting these setups as the rotates coming in, so G2 could try to fight on this site if they want. Loud making their way in.
There's a Razorvine inside Baby Door, so just pivoting to B is not an option for Loud. They're kind of committed here, Wyatt.
Oh, and PBB is caught in front of that smoke. Oh my god, Tikazine just barely gets away with it. Valen, you have him committed in the pit. He needs some help.
Tikazine trying to fall off this line. Can they flash Valen out of this corner? I mean, playing with the Viper's pit is so difficult.
How are they going to deal with that? They still have to get around the Odin somehow, working into the pit, just getting spammed down.
I mean, there's no presence outside of stairs. That's the problem. Odo's able to find one, but watch out. Tikazine now is going to be in the side, coming up behind them. Dangerous! Valen dealt with him, but still has to play into the pit. Still has to play into this Darker and Luxo combo that has gotten Loud so much traction, so much mileage. There's a shorty there, by the way. Yep. That'll do you in proper good.
That pit in the lay round was just too much for G2 to deal with. It's that catch onto Baby Bay from Tikazine that just gets Loud such a significant advantage. And once they get the pit down after that, I mean, it's as good as done, right? G2, they have to go for it, though, in the 4-on-5. You can't just save in this situation. That would be ridiculous. But they're going for it at such a disadvantage. And because of that, the economy is broken.
Quietly, Jorgamo's doing a lot, flooding into that A site. 2 rounds in a row now. He's able to find that first pick, but it's not been enough.
And G2, they are right into this A fight. We've seen the tendency on some of these eco rounds to be more active there. And
Not
it
these
is
guys.
going to force Loud over towards C. They're just, I mean, yeah, G2, I mean, they've forced into this completely. With Stingers, it feels like a damn eco.
Yeah, I mean,
4 Stingers and this one Baby Bay Hero rifle that is going to come into play. Oh my god!
it's disrespected. Tigazine now
Just-
really bursting
It just
with momentum.
feels done. These guys are on point right now. We have not seen Loud at this level.
Still, G2 Stinger by, however, Luke Show is locking it down with that Tour de Force. Leaf removed via Waterfall.
Planted.
Trademark to get you off the line. Valen taking a lot of damage through that smoke. I don't know how they're supposed to come back from this. Jaw got knocked down. Decayed briefly. Here's the fight on the side there, but Luke Show and Dark are going to lock it down, and Tigazine just wants a bit more action, I think. Stinger by sent packing. 1 more round and a half here for G2, who look like they've barely turned up on this map.
The last time we've seen a Loud at this level genuinely might be the completely different outfit of Kickoff 2024, when they still had some of the original core that won champions. Since then, this organization that has had so much success in the past, they have not been able to revisit it, but finally, it feels like they've got the pieces together to maybe return to a global for the first time since then. Again, this is the kind of win that is just putting them on the map, installing so much belief that they could really go on a run here in this stage.
That big step of promising to proven needs kind of a decisive victory to back it up. This would be it. Uh-oh. It's a G2 Stinger, though.
Yeah, Darker is rushed down. That is, of course, going to activate the rest of Loud to get into the C site.
And, of course, G2 are going to feel the pressure to get value out of these Stingers, to get up on these closer lines, to play faster. Tigazine, though, happy to do that as well. Look at that immense amount of control he's been able to get on the Halls area, and Luke Show just takes the
How
timing.
does he even find the target there?
He's swinging into 4 Stinger players and just doesn't have a care in the world. Showstopper is stopped. And Tigazine up on the side here, turns into a bit of a shooting gallery. Luke Show is simply not sharing his toys or kills.
How exactly is he even on for this ace? Where did he get all those kills? Was that just the AWP into the instant headhunter?
You make your own luck. Luke Show creeping up. It's Valen with the rifle, but has his head turned away. And Luke Show lands the ace. As if north of 30 kills in our first map wasn't enough. He is dominating here as well. 14 and 6. 5 of those coming up in the last.
Dominating, but look at the stat lines of everyone else. That is just what stands out. Yeah, Luke Show 14-6 half. Hey, we've seen that before. But we're looking at Tigazine just getting constant first blood, sitting at 13 and 8. Darker, Davi, closing out late rounds that felt unwinnable when you go all the way back to that 2v4 they won, which was a moment that captured so much momentum and put so much hurt on G2 early in the half. Everyone has had their moments. This really is the Loud roster working exactly as intended at their best.
It's your global contenders of tomorrow, putting on an incredible showing today. 11-1 at the halftime, and G2 had better hope that pistol win rate stat does them well when we come back for more Lotus.
Whenever I use Zowie models, I would say I just feel my element.
Demon 1 is good.
Without Nyack, the biggest difference was the ghosting. It was a immediate change. If you see something and it's not actually there, you're gonna miss your shot. Black Equalizer and Vibrance, I can react quicker to it, I can shoot better at it.
This guy is just spectacular.
With Zowie, I can always trust him, that I can just focus on competing. My performance will always be at the top level.
Zowie.
Tigazine, every time we see you, you have such a big smile on your face, and you look like you're just having fun. So is being a VCT pro kind of like living the dream?
Yeah, I used to think about this since I was a kid. So being here, it's so excited, so funny. So I'm really excited to be here. I don't know how to explain this for you, but I got here with hard work and being better every day. So for me, it's really fun to be here.
Listen, we all love having you here. Good luck today.
Thank you.
redefining what it means to come together as a fresh squad. Kind of redefining what the expected rate of development should be for a new project. Loud are dominating in this series. It's a scrappy first match. We get on to Lotus. And wow, it's been ugly for them. But let's get the second half underway and lock in with our #1 VPN, ExpressVPN. Timeout after timeout. They've all been used, by the way, for G2. None of those remain for their attack side. Loud are 11 rounds to the good.
It's just one for G2 against this evolving Loud team, making a statement today. Mentioned at the beginning, but coming into this map, you know, they were 4-1 on maps where they ran Neon, 1-3 where they didn't, including 2 losses on Lotus. They switched to this Neon, and that has brought an injection of life into that attack side. They just need to close it out on defense. They just need 2 rounds.
All right. It's getting hot and heavy early in the round. This is exactly what Loud like. This is exactly how they like their bread buttered. It never falls butter side down when they throw themselves at their opponents.
G2 are reeling, and it is not even 20 seconds
it's
to the round.
They can't even trade. TKZ with 3, surely asking for more, and he'll have his due. It's about young individuals showing great promise for this region. But it's zero-sum because on the other side of this exchange, there's someone getting their faces beat in, and it's G2. Just as we thought they were clear. They'd gotten through the ugliness of this stage of this year. They were going to be back to winning ways. A hand comes out of stage left and drags them back. This Loud team are a revelation today.
And in some ways, it felt like they could always get here. It just took the right formation of players. Like when the beginning foundation is a guy like Luke Show, and they have gotten there. G2 are forced into their vintage Stinger buy. No other options.
Big flash on Tigazine, but he's able to get ahead of it and still find a frag. VALORANT trying to push in, put these Stingers to work. He's found Tigazine. 4 players blinded up, but Erda has to fight tooth and nail to get in. He's ready for it though, isn't he? 6 feet under, VALORANT trained in a matter of seconds, and BabyBay is on his own. No qualifiers, no caveats, no more hoops to jump through. Loud have carved themselves a seat at our America's table, and now they're a true threat heading into the post stage.
Highlight reel for every single player on their roster. They all showed up. You look at the damn scoreboard, the whole 5-player team is ahead of everyone on G2. That's ridiculous. And to do that on Lotus, when we're setting it up earlier in the series as that Sunset, that feels like the must-win. That's going to be a tight game, even though it's Loud's pick. Both of them have shown up there, and yeah, that was the case. You're heading on to Lotus that, you know, thinking that G2 should be able to get away with this win. It should be the more comfortable map for them, but it is a Loud transformed, bringing the Neon into the mix, and that just had Tigazine in top form. This guy is the real deal. He has been unbelievable for the team.
The kids are indeed all right, and South America's latest offering to the VALORANT world comes with some real promise.